Hi, I'm Melissa. Please join me for a yin yoga practice. In yin yoga, we hold the poses for a little bit longer. We're going to hold the poses today for about a minute. But if you decide to practice this sequence on your own, you can hold them for 3 or 4 minutes for however long it feels comfortable in your body. I invite you to find an accent cushion or a blanket and fold that up, place it underneath the hips. This helps to lift and tilt the pelvis. We're going to start in butterfly pose. So we'll bring the soles of the feet together in front of us, allowing the knees to gently open. Take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, we're going to bring the chest forward and out over the feet. Can let the head and the neck relax here or keep looking up. In yin yoga, we just want to find what feels comfortable in our bodies. Breathe into the sensations. There are 3 principles in yin yoga. The first is that we stay in the pose for a long time. So more than a breath or 2 for several breaths. The second principle is that we practice at an edge. An edge is a place where we have interesting sensation, but not pain. And finally, the last principle is that we hold the pose in stillness. This is not to say that you can't move while you're practicing, but move slowly, gently, and with purpose or intention. Let's stay here holding butterfly pose for a few more breaths, maybe finding a little more space to go a little deeper. And then very slowly begin to walk the body up and release. Take the hands to the outsides of the knees. Bring the knees together. We're going to come into our dragon lunges now. So we'll roll over onto hands and knees. We're going to bring the right foot forward and the left leg back. It's up to you whether the back toes are curled or uncurled. If you have yoga blocks or books that you can place underneath the hands here, I invite you to do that. Otherwise, just reach the fingertips to the floor. You could even practice with the hands resting on top of the right leg. Sink deep into the hips. Breathe into the sensations of the hip flexor. Stay with your breath. And let's switch sides gently. Slide the right foot back. Bring the left foot forward. Finding your dragon lunge on the other side. Observing the sensations in the hip flexor. Stay here, be here, and breathe here. Maybe you can close the eyes, sinking a little deeper into the pose. Just be present and be aware. Start to release. Take a moment to pause in Seiza pose for a few breaths. Just seated with the hips on the heels. Close the eyes. We're going to come into deer pose now, which is my favorite yin pose. You might want to have your blanket handy for support underneath the hip. We're going to start by bringing the left shin forward perpendicular to the mat. And the right leg is bent at a 90-degree angle like a frog leg. If these angles don't work for you, then you can adjust as needed. And I would take my blanket at this point and slide it up underneath my right hip. Then I'm going to turn my body to face the top of the mat. I'm trying to press down through my left knee and also press down through my right leg. I'm getting both inner and outer rotation of the hips in this pose. And the more that I work to square my body towards the top of the mat, the more sensation I experience. You may not necessarily feel anything at first, but if you start to hold this pose for a few minutes, things will begin happening in the hips. So just take another breath or two here. We're going to gently release by rocking onto the left leg and swinging the right leg around in front of us to switch sides. So bend the right knee, right shin parallel to the top of the mat. Bend the left leg. So you have a little frog leg here. Use the blanket if you need support. Flex the feet. Rotate the torso towards the top of the mat. Press down through the front knee. Press down through the back leg. Notice any sensations in the hips. So we practice deer pose on the other side. Enjoying the benefits of having both the internal and external hip rotation. Be here, breathe here. Stay with yourself for another breath. And then gently release, rocking onto the right leg so that we can swing the left leg around. We're going to set our blanket out of the way and roll onto our backs to do a spinal twist. Coming down onto the ground, slowly bend the knees, feet flat to the ground. We're going to Gently scooch our hips over towards the right edge of the mat. Pick up the legs. If you like, you can cross the right thigh over top the left. Drop the knees over to the left. Turn the head over the right shoulder. As long as it feels good in the neck to turn the head over the right shoulder. Slowly begin to release, gently bringing the legs back to center. This time we're going to scooch our hips over to the left edge of the mat. We're doing this to ensure that we get a twist through the whole length of the spine. If you like, cross the left thigh on top of the right. Pick up the feet, drop the knees over to the right, and as long as it's okay in the neck, turn the head over to the left. Breathe into the twist. Slowly begin to unwind this side, coming back to center. We're going to hug the knees into the chest here. Try to lift the forehead up towards the knees. Rock a little bit from side to side. Slowly release this cosmic egg shape. Let yourself come down onto the back for a few breaths in Shavasana. So turn the head so that you're facing upwards, not looking at a screen. Have the palms gently rotated upward so that the chest is open. Release the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Let yourself breathe heavy and relax down into the ground. To release, gently bend the knees, bring the feet flat to the ground, roll yourself over onto one side, gently press the body back up to seated. Take a moment here in Seiza pose, close the eyes, notice the sensations. And this concludes our Gentle Express Yin practice. Thank you.
Great.
Was it?
Yeah.